Are we live? We're live. Hello, everyone. How you doing? We've got an exciting one today because we've invited our friend from Alphatheta, Lars, who I've been working with for years. You can come in. How you doing? You all right?
Good to see you, Chris.
Yeah, you all right? He has... how long have you been working with Alphatheta now?
More or less 29 years.
You're a lifer.
So
You're a lifer. So yeah.
1996, Roger Sanchez introduced me to the guys.
Oh,
and,
really?
Was a contractor for quite a while, and then just kind of, and because I was also a touring DJ at the time, and then just kind of worked my way in, worked my way up.
Perfect. Well, anyway, I've known you for years. You're awesome. Thank you for coming on here and actually showing me what I am anticipating I'm going to be using for the next however many years in my shows. I'm actually really excited about this. So we've got a pair of the new Cdj 3000Xs. We only set up one because I actually want to do a bit of a comparison between, let me show you what we've got here. I want to do a bit of a comparison between the old Cdj and the new one. This is actually, this is really exciting. I spent about, well, how long did we spend yesterday looking at these things? Like 10 minutes? I purposely want to stay kind of like ignorant to like the new features and let Lars show me what's going on. I can give him a really confused look several times, and then you can try to explain to me how to use these things. But anyway, I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm really, really excited about this. So should we jump into this?
Let's do it.
All right. And hello, everyone, by the way. We've got a bit of a new setup, as you can see. I'm at the back of the room. Can everyone hear us okay? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm listening.
All right, perfect. All right, so this is the new 3000X.
Yep.
So do you want to run me through the main differences now, or the new features?
Yeah, so the Cdj 3000 is now exactly 5 years old. It came out in September of 2020.
Good time.
It doesn't, I know, right? I was just going to say, it doesn't feel like it's been 5 years because we launched it right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. And
a lot of people were like, how dare you launch it right in the middle of COVID? We're like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Wait another year?
Well, so this came out 5-6 months after the V10.
Exactly. So the V10 was launched in January of 2020.
So I remember this because I remember speaking to you because I was playing Crossed Festival in March 2020.
Yes.
And we were talking about moving it to the V10, and you had helped us get a V10 for me to use at Crossed, and it was the first time that I'd ever used it on stage. And it was really, really quite difficult. I was really surprised at some of the differences. You were right next to me, exactly. Yeah. that was the second last show before COVID. But anyway, I use this mixer at all of my shows now. I love it.
Yeah, that was a crazy time because literally the next day the whole world shut down. Like that was a 2-day festival, like Saturday, Sunday, and then like on Monday the world ended. And it was
fully ended. I was inside. Never got out of my, I think I put any decent clothes on for 18 months.
Yeah.
All right, so
we've been planning this product for a long time. The only product planning meeting I had with you on this was actually 2 years ago, once again at Crossed. It was like at the Fall Cross Festival.
That was when we spoke. No, yeah, that's right.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been in the making for about 3 years. So met with a ton of artists here stateside as well as in Europe in developing this. And this is always a really tricky product for us to develop because obviously it's the product that put us on the map. The Cdj 1000 is really the product that put us on the map. It's our halo product. It's our most important product. And it's also true that a lot of people who perform on this product don't actually own one. right? There's a lot of DJs out there who put this on their tech writer and they show up and they're like, well, you know, I play 3 nights a week at a club or at a festival stage. I don't need to own one, right? So it needs to be.
Is that the dirty secret of the industry, that like a huge portion of the main DJs out there actually don't even own a pair of these?
Well, I became aware of that actually during COVID, right? Because, you know, I had so many DJs hit me up when the CDJ 3000 launched, wanting to buy Cdj'S. And
that's right. You had a supply chain issue, didn't you?
We had a supply chain issue, and we actually thought the launch of CDJ 3000 was going to be really problematic because, you know, the rental houses, the clubs were everything was shut down. But we had so many people wanting to buy them just for their homes that it actually wasn't that big of an issue, you know. But I mean, I'm not going to name anybody, but I had, you know, big name millionaire DJs hitting me up wanting to buy Cdj's, and I would go, wait, you don't own any Cdj's? They're like, no, I haven't owned Cdj's in like 10 years or whatever. It's like, what? But you got all the money in the world. What's holding it back, you know? So that's when I realized how many DJs are out there that actually don't own Cdj's, you know? So we want to give you all the new. We want to give you all the fancy new features, but we also realize we have to present it in a way that is intuitive and that's accessible. You know, and in addition to that, you know, typically the lifespan of a product like this is 4 to 5 years, you know, so we also need to future proof. So there may be a few things on here where you go, I don't need that, but we think in 2 or 3 years, maybe you will, you know. Okay. So let's start out by just going into one of your playlists. I don't want to play any tracks that we're not allowed to play.
Yeah, let me figure this out.
Just, you know, just go into like a
local library.
Exactly, go to local library.
I made one here, AT demo.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so
let me do this.
Actually, before we do that, so hold on, let me go to shortcut. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of your waveform.
Okay.
Because this blue is very, very old school. So I'm going to go, we have RGB and we have 3 bands. Okay. So this is the 3-band waveform that we introduced a few years ago. And what you can see here is, and let me just go into like the middle of the track, the blue indicates the lows, the white indicates the highs, and then the yellow in the middle is your mids, right? So you can see pretty clearly by looking at this 3-band waveform, you know, what frequency is dominant.
Yeah.
So first, that's the first thing. So let's look at the browse screen, right? So and let's go into
same track here.
Okay, actually I want to look at the browse screen first, right? So if you're looking over here, you're seeing so let's go into like the smallest mode, right? So here you're seeing 12 tracks, you were seeing 16 tracks, because this screen is a 10.1 inch screen and this is a 9 inch screen, right? So that's maybe the most obvious thing, right? When you step up to it, you're like, it's a bigger screen, right? And then if you go into mid or large font, you know, then you got 10 over here and you got 12 tracks over here.
Yeah, it looks nice.
So, yeah, so
it's more flush, right? It's like it's more kind of there's a recess here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So here you got this sort of old school bezel around it, and here it's just a little closer to you, right? It's closer to the surface.
I'll tell you the funny thing when I used to play with when we were DJing, when I DJ with Chris Lorenzo, that kind of like recess here in the screen, that's where he would put his vape when he was vaping.
Okay. I'm sorry, Chris. You won't be able to do that
He's
any
lost
longer.
his vape. He doesn't vape anymore. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, so next, why don't you select a track?
All right, cool. Yeah, we've got it.
Okay, so I see you don't have a lot of hot cues selected here, right?
No, I haven't. No, yeah, just one.
There's just one, and that's probably like your mix out point.
Yeah, I'd done this for I think I'd made this on a playlist for Radio 1. I only had a few tracks to play, so I had to mix to a certain time. So yeah, I set it up with like mix out points.
So you can obviously, what you can already do on the old player is if you are, let's say you wanted to set a hot cue while it's playing, you can do that. But what you can now do on the new player, you can actually set a hot cue further down the track.
One second, actually, I'm going to just pause this a second. I want to change one thing.
While you're changing that, I'm actually going to add in a picture-in-picture.
Maybe you should actually just turn off the line audio and we just run with mic.
Cool.
Let's do that.
Try that.
Yeah. Sorry, we'll do that again. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, all good, all good. So now what you can do, you can, let's say you decide you want to jump over this breakdown, right? Yeah. You can simply put your finger here. It'll zoom in on that part of the track, right? And you can now set your hot cue there. And then now you have a hot cue further down the road.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
You know, I've spoken to you before. That was one of the things that I was having an issue with is I like to do live editing, but actually to actually add that cue point in was a massive pain in the ass. You know, you have to, well, if I was to do it on here, I'd have to be playing it. I'd have to fast forward, you know, do it like that. It's not as intuitive. I can't be touching the screen like you can on the new one. Right. And then put the cue point in.
Yeah, because it's just such a common thing to forget to do that, right? Like, obviously, you should be preparing all your stuff in Rekordbox and have all your hot cues and all your cue points and everything set, but it's just not realistic. You know, you're on the road, you get a new track, you just dump it in there. You're like, oh, I don't have time for hot cues, you know? So now you can do that. You can set those hot cues.
I love it.
Like on the fly, you know? And obviously, you got the bigger screen here that gives you a lot more detail, you know, on the waveforms.
Yeah, it's taller, right? It just looks easier to. It's nicer. It's moving with the times, right?
Then over here, you probably noticed we got two USB sticks connected. This one's mine. This one's yours. So this is a USB-A port. This is a USB-C port.
Yeah.
You know. You know, we're moving. Obviously, everything's moving to USB-C, so it was important for us to include that. But the majority of DJs have USB-A sticks, so it was important for us to have both of the sticks on there.
It's handy though, because like, you know, for anyone that's using MacBook Pros now, all the MacBook Pros, they only have USB-C. You need to have a dongle to use, you know, USB-A. This is great for me. I'm happy to be able to fully convert to USB-C. I'm sick of using that dongle. One less thing to carry in the bag.
So this symbol up here indicates that we're on Wi-Fi, right? So if I go into the utility menu and I go to network and I go to Wi-Fi setting, you can see we're now connected to the Wi-Fi here in your home. And so what that allows me to do is play from the cloud, right? So whether your Rekordbox library's in the cloud, whether you're using Tidal, whether you're using Beatport, all that's accessible, right? And so there's different ways of logging in. So if you have...
Oh, Nate, do you want to actually, we want to switch to the iPhone.
Do it.
Show you. Is this do I press the iPhone
first?
1 second. Is this on? That's not on.
No, it is.
It is, yeah. Boom, there we go. All right.
Okay.
Let's show this.
So there's an NFC chip here in the front of the player.
Show them this.
Right?
Around the front.
So this thing that lights up. So this is the same type of chip that, whatever, when you're buying your cappuccino and you're paying with Square or that kind of thing, right? So if you hold your phone in front of it, you'd see here Rekordbox NFC tag. And now this opens up the Rekordbox mobile app on my phone. And now when I go to source, I can see right here cloud login. Actually, sorry, it's this one. So this is where I just logged in, right? So now I'm connected to Tidal and I can also connect to Beatport. The other way I can log in is by just bringing up a QR code on the screen and then just using the camera.
Yeah, but that's not as fun. That's what you do in a restaurant.
Right? And then the third way to log in is by just authenticating your stick. So that's what I did right here. So if I go to my USB stick, you can see now I'm logged into my Tidal and my Beatport and also my Rekordbox Cloud.
Right. So then, but I guess that's not going to be, not everyone's going to want to do that because then I guess if you authenticate the stick, then if anyone pinches your stick, then they've got authentication into your libraries and everything like that. Correct?
That's That's true. Of course, you can disable it
Yeah,
as soon as
cool.
you realize you lose your stick or
Gotcha.
whatever, you know. But yeah, those are the different ways that you can log in. And yeah, so now I have. So let's go into.
Real quick. Sorry, I'm just gonna actually add a picture-in-picture on here real quick.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom, there we go.
Everyone can
Look
see
at that, glorious.
in the back of my ugly head.
Okay. So of course, the biggest concern with playing from the internet, playing from the cloud, is
The internet.
the internet. So the solution to that is, let's say I tag a bunch of tracks here.
It's going to pre-download.
Exactly. Right. So right now I'm in title. So now I'm gonna go into Beatport and I'm gonna go into, I don't know, Amapiano.
Yeah.
This is the top 100 of Amapiano, and I'm just gonna take 2 tracks and tag them. And then now I'm gonna go into my local library and go into a playlist, and I'm gonna tag a few more tracks. So now when I go to my tag list,
Once it's downloaded, they'll appear.
and I press global, the tracks are here now, right? So you can see these are my title tracks and these are my Beatport tracks. And this cloud indicate that these tracks have already been downloaded, right? So let me go back to title one more time, and I'm gonna take Act Up tag with a tag list. Now you can see the cloud was not filled in, but now it's filled in, right? It took about 5 seconds or so, right? So this is what we call the global tag list, and all of these tracks are now immediately accessible. So you select it, you can see now it's loading.
Glorious.
So
That's really cool.
that takes really all the anxiety, all the stress out of playing from the cloud. Because this track is now in the memory of the player, right? So even if you were to now disconnect from the Wi-Fi or eject the stick or whatever, the track will just continue playing.
So with that same approach in mind, is it doing the same preloading from USB sticks if you're putting them into the tag list as well? Putting it into the because I know that there's a more advanced system. For example, like if I'm playing a track, I can actually eject the stick before the song's finished now, right?
Good question. So no, it what it puts into memory is the track that's currently playing, right? So
from the USB is the only track that it puts into memory.
yes.
Okay.
So we could look into that. Dixon asked me the same question 2 weeks ago. And he's like, yeah, I don't really use title. I don't really use, but that would be a handy thing to have, that everything that's on the tag list is in the memory, right? So we've allocated, so there's a chip in here with 32 gigabytes, and we've allocated 16 gigabytes to the memory, right? So you can download tracks from, again, title, Beatport, maybe there'll be more.
Well,
Work with in the future.
I can imagine that,
and then it's in the memory.
I can imagine that being quite handy. For example, like I've talked to you about this. I play in Vegas. I do a lot of pool parties. We're playing in like what temperature did we get to this year? 116, 118. Yeah, like one of the days we were playing at 118 degree heat. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And these things get absolutely battered, and it's kind of like one of the tops of these Cdj'S end up getting cooked, but also the USBs, like they can overheat as well. I guess it's sort of like it's nice thinking that if there's as much pre-roll or as much of the data that's taken from the USBs actually into the Cdj'S, that if anything goes wrong with the USB, which has happened.
Right.
It's a nice little redundancy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look into that. I mean, maybe there's a setting where you can say, I don't really use streaming, therefore put all the stuff from my stick that I tag into the memory, because it's just a question of allocating the memory, So in theory, that's possible. So
it's great you got the option though. Really, really cool. All right, what else? What else is new?
So that was the global tag list. you know, and the preview button right here just shows you the waveform. You know, but that's not a new feature. We have that on the other one as well. Then if you go into shortcut, you can turn gate Q on.
Yeah, so I don't understand this one yet.
So gate Q right now is on. So what that means is when I pause the track, it only plays it for as long as I hold it, right? So on the old player, you know, so with gate Q off, it would start playback. And now, you know, I can trigger it again, but it doesn't pause. But with gate Q on, you know,
and you can, okay, so I saw that you
So yeah, you can go into shortcut menu, or you can turn it on.
And then I assume if you turn off Quantized, then it's sort of like, yeah.
Yeah. So if you wanna like beat juggle, that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, yeah, because that's playing, it can still do the same. That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's something that people have been asking for a long time. So it's kind of a, you know, it's not a dramatic change, you know, but it's something that's been really received.
Nate's just giving me this like.
I wanna test out some of the audio. You guys keep on going, but I might trip out on stream. Just giving a heads up. I'm just turning off the noise gate so people can hear the music a little bit better.
Yeah, cool.
So then we also have a new feature called Smart Cue. So if you turn Smart Cue on, what happens is the most recently played hard cue is now available here on the cue button.
All right. Go slow, start again. I like, now you've lost me. Smart cue.
So if you, right now these are all green, right? But you can actually change, let's see. You can change.
Everyone's watching me getting real confused right now.
You can change it so that the hot cues show up in different colors, right? And if you do that, then every hot cue that you trigger then gets put here. So right now I'm on hot cue C, and this is hot cue C. Now I'm on hot cue E, and now hot cue E is right here.
And that only happens when you've got Smart Cue selected, which is in the menu.
Exactly.
I'm going to have to get my head around why I would use that.
Okay. It just, it gives you, it's a feature we introduced on our all-in-one called the Opus Quad. And it's been fairly well received. People like just triggering it down here.
Oh, okay. I get it. So just essentially, so once you're on a cue point that you really like, it's just moving it down closer to down here so that you're not playing up here. All right, that's a preference.
Yeah. We've improved the jog, right? So what we tried to do with the jog on the Cdj'S 3000 was like the 3000 jog is a lot smoother when you compare it to the 2000 Nexus 2. Right? It doesn't really make any sounds. It runs a lot smoother, but at the heaviest setting, some people complained it was still too light, right? So on this one, we changed the mechanism, and on the heaviest setting, it's a lot heavier. Give it a try, compare it.
Oh yes, much heavier.
So if you use the platter as scratch, you want to set it fairly light, you know, but if you're just using the platter pitch bend, you know, then it's quite nice to have this heavier feel.
Yeah, because you don't have to be as sensitive.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I guess it's probably a bit more in really heavy vibrating booths, the platters were a little bit susceptible to kind of like getting shaken by the bass. I'm assuming that's going to be.
Yes, so that's no longer an issue. There were some people who were complaining about that, like James Hype being one of them. And you know, he's already switched over to the 3000X. In fact, he just did a show for us for our DJ Sounds YouTube channel.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's no longer an issue. And if that ever is an issue, you can solve the problem by switching vinyl mode to Cdj mode on the platter.
Well, ironically, yeah, I do use Cdj. Yeah, I always use Cdj mode. I've never really been a vinyl.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I kind of like everyone that I play with always uses vinyl mode. I'm the only one that uses Cdj mode.
And you've never...
I could use it, but
you've never been in that situation where you're trying to do like a little wind down effect and you hit the pause button and
no. So I always
get the stutter.
No, I always switch, but
Okay.
yeah, I always switch. But my default mode is Cdj.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the mode we've had literally since 1994. You know, that's why it's called CDJ mode. We introduced vinyl mode in 2001 on the 1000.
I love playing on vinyl, but I also I don't fawn to kind of like emulate it. I'm not really that bothered personally. So
do you play vinyl sets sometimes?
Oh, it's been a long time. It'd be quite funny watching me do that. You've talked about getting me to do
we
that.
talked about the idea of having you just like a vinyl player set up when you walk out and go to plug in your USB and there's no Cdj's for you.
Yeah, I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could do it, but it's just been like I haven't done it for a long time.
Right.
So.
Your tour manager, Eric, he had two statements. One, look at all the new ways I can mess up your intro at show. And two, have they been adjusted so they won't jiggle when Chris plays at 135 decibels?
That's
They won't jiggle.
Yeah, no, he knows what I'm like. There's definitely been when you're in a loud booth, like these things can play up a little bit. But this definitely this feels the platter feels way better. So what else is new?
So if you look at the back, there on the old player is a USB B port. I mean, I can.
We'll grab the camera.
So the port in the rear is to connect a laptop, right? So this one right here, that's now USB-C. So that's been switched from USB-B to USB-C. So if you want to use this as a Serato controller, for example, that's where you would connect your laptop. And then, of course, with every player, we'll also always...
Can you close that window? Yeah. So I can't see what's actually on there. Sorry.
With every player, we're always trying to improve the sound quality. So there's a new DAC, a new digital to analog converter in here that's better on every level, in terms of signal to noise ratio, channel separation, all that stuff. So it's a noticeable. I mean, it's not a massive upgrade, but if you're on a good sound system, it makes those improvement.
96K YouTube rips sound better. I love it.
That's right. Yeah. So those are like the major updates.
I've noticed a couple of things that are different. When I was playing with them yesterday, which I would. First off, this is like a selfish thing that I want to figure out how to fix. So, for example, like a common feature that I use is this.
Right.
Touching the track at the top and then it bringing up additional information. That doesn't do that on the Cdj, and I'm really interested to understand all of the changes.
This kind of does the opposite.
Yeah,
right.
It's a hiding button.
It's a hiding button, exactly.
Which I'm all for, because like I have a big problem with. I play a lot of unreleased stuff, and a lot of the time I kind of, it's so early that I don't want anyone to. I probably haven't even come up with a name for the song, and then when I'm queuing it up, I actually want to hide it, and I have ways that I hide tracks. On the old Cdj that I'm used to, so I can try and hide things, because often now when I'm playing, there's probably someone there. There's probably someone here, cameras and everything.
There's always too many people in the booth.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. So I can stop people like Salah from clocking what's tracks being played. Is he in here?
There's no fucking way. He just joined in. And his exact message was 3 devil emojis, and then he goes, "Go ahead and name drop me, Chris."
Yeah, there we go. I didn't know he was in it. But this guy he's aware. Let's just put it that way.
So yeah, you can press this little icon with an I,
Yeah.
right? Or you can press
The track.
the track name. If you want to get the information up, what you were referring to earlier,
It's the info
it's right
button
there.
here.
It's the info button.
Okay.
And now that takes up the whole screen, and that gives you all the information right there.
I'm gonna have to get used to that one. We all get stuck in our ways, Lars. This is this is the problem. Like I'm excited about a lot of these changes and improvements. There's definitely little things like that it's almost like I actually feel like me touching this. It's almost like one of my DJ ticks.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be something I'm going to need to customize myself to, because yeah, I do it all the time. It's one of my go-to things. I'm always doing this.
Because you want to know the artist name, or what is it that you're looking for?
Yeah. It's okay. Another thing that I do as well is I'm often looking at the date that I've uploaded something,
Right.
that I've put it onto my sticks, because I'm often playing revisions of songs that I'm testing, and I'm so unorganized on my sticks that I have to go through and I'll look at a track, and then I'll search, like you know, let's just say this was mine. This track isn't mine, but Tribal Mood, and there's like 1-4, 1-5, 1-7. They're, you know, all different versions, but there isn't say there's no revision number on it. It's just a name, but there's different versions of it. I have to look and see which one's the most recent to know it's the one that I've worked on most recently,
Right.
and I need to look at the time, the date that it was put up. So yeah,
You don't name it version 3. Version
no,
4,
honestly, that
version 5?
would involve being intelligent and preparing for my shows properly. But as Nate knows, I like probably the most unorganized area of my whole career is my record box.
Really?
It's pretty bad.
Okay. I
It's
think we
pretty
gotta
bad.
work. I've
It was.
It was no, I did a
It's
big
gone better in the past like 3 weeks.
and I've
I did a big cleanup recently when
I can tell you, I've seen far worse. I
it's-
mean, I'm pulling my hair out with this shit I see.
mine was pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. It always kind of boggles the mind, because I'm like, this is your profession. Like, this is what you do. You're like a traveling DJ. But I get it. You know, you just get bombarded with promos and, you know, new tracks that you're downloading and new tracks that you're working on, and you're just dumping it in there. So yeah, no, I totally get it. So yeah, the symbols here next to the information. This tells you that you're connected to Wi-Fi, and this tells you that you're connected to the internet. Of course, you can also connect to the internet over Ethernet,
Yeah.
right? You can already do that with the old ones, right? So if your LAN switch is connected to the internet because you have hardwired internet in the booth, you can also go that route. You know, depending on the environment you're in, that might be the better route. You know, if you do connect to Wi-Fi, you know, ideally have like a dedicated Wi-Fi for the artists, for the staff. You know, you don't want to go to like the
I think a lot of
the
places,
public Wi-Fi.
that's going to take a long time for that infrastructure to be like bulletproof. It's going to take there's probably most booths are not accommodating Ethernet lines into the it'd be something they'll have to be figuring out over the next couple of years once everyone's asking for these to to be installed. Are there a lot of them on the market now?
We did get a lot of shipments in. So I mean, we are back ordered. So if you place an order for one, it's probably 2 to 3 weeks wait. You know?
That's not bad. It's not as bad as your launch in 2020 for
I mean,
these
back
ones.
then people were waiting like 6 months, 9 months. I the other day, funnily enough, at my hairdresser, I ran into somebody who told me he bought an RMX 1000, and not only did he pay $500 more than what it's advertised, but he also had to wait like 8 or 9 months.
That's your
for it,
oldest
something like
product
that.
that you still sell.
Yes, this thing is 13 years old, and
Come on, boys.
you know,
Come
it's
on.
we're working on something. We're working on something. But yeah, the history of this product is interesting, because when we launched it, the first year or two, it did really, really well. We sold a lot of them, and then it kind of dipped. And then just a few years ago, it just
Yeah,
came
do you know what it was?
roaring back.
Nah, it's Tech House, and Tech House loves a snare roll.
Yes.
It's the snare roll machine. It's like it's that's what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, we are working on something new, and that's kind of been the big feedback. You know, when you speak to people who were using it 5 years ago, like let's say Carl Cox, for example, he'll tell you, I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of sounding like everybody else.
Right.
You know, because you know, there's only so much you can do with it, and you know, so the scene effects here, for example, you have a bandpass filter and echo. You can't all of a sudden change that to have it be a bandpass filter with, I don't know, a reverb or something like that. It's just fixed, you know. So the amount of things you can do with this is kind of limited. And even though you can add 16 samples here via SD card, there's no screen, so it doesn't. You have to memorize where your samples are, you know. So it's a little tricky to use that way.
Well, let's just hope that maybe you're someone at your company's thinking in the future.
We are thinking about how to improve it. Yeah.
No, I enjoy using this. I use it lightly, but it's fun. It kind of like it's really handy for building tension in my genre. It's helpful, you know. I mean, combining it with this, I enjoy it. I have it on all my shows. Yeah, I'm definitely like. So how about the screen brightness then? I'm actually interested in this. So I guess I go hold menu, display.
Yeah, so you can adjust your LCD brightness.
It's pretty similar, right?
Yes.
There's less glare, right? Am I tripping?
Correct. There's less glare, yeah.
So that's going to be better for day parties.
Yeah.
Even just on camera, you can see the clarity between the two is so much clearer on the X's.
Yeah. I think
and you can of course make that part of your settings so that when you load the settings in from your stick, right? So you go here to shortcut, right here it says my settings load, right? You do that and it loads it onto this player. And I mean, you have to do it on every player. We set it up that way. That way, if you and I are going back to back, or you're playing and now I'm coming on, that I'm not overriding your settings over there. I'm just doing, you know, you have to do it in every player. But that can be just part of your settings. That way it's easy. And then everything, whether your master tempo is on or off, what your tempo range is, whether your sync is on, your key sync is on, all this kind of stuff can be part of my settings. And you can see right here, it's also super easy to just adjust the brightness in the shortcut menu.
Would you be mad if I I want to give one of my thoughts of it? There's something I think I've mentioned to you before, if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
But like one of my features that I love, like, Eric's in the chat here, and he knows about this. There's really like there's two dominant situations that I kind of that I walk into as a DJ. One would be pool parties or the daytime parties where obviously the sun's beaming down and I want everything to be as bright as possible. And I also would have the same settings for festivals. But then I actually want completely the opposite for the other place that I play, which is dark, sweaty clubs, which is, so the problem that I have is like I set at the moment, let's go to my stick. You go here, my settings load. So this is, I don't know if maybe some people are not aware of this, but like when you plug in your USB, you can actually bring all of your settings over. You'll see like when I press this, my settings, it'll switch to Cdj mode. Oh, no, it won't because I didn't hit that. So there we go. Moves to Cdj mode. All of the brightness will be up to 5, jog brightness to 5. But the one thing that I wish I had is 2 options for my settings, because when I walk into a club,
dark club mode, daytime mode.
Because the problem you have is if you actually have the screen on at full brightness, the screen is so bright compared to a dark club. When you're looking up, it accentuates the darkness. My eyes can't differentiate between. I can't see the crowd. So I've walked into the club, and it's quite a it's quite a stimulating thing walking into a room that you've been in your hotel room for a couple of hours chilling out, and then you walk into the club and you headline in a club and you've got to ramp the energy up to 100. And my perception of darkness is accentuated by the fact that the screen's on full brightness, so I always want to have it at the lowest, but then I have to go to my settings, and then I have to go to menu, display,
right,
and do that across 4 while I'm actually setting up at the show. So that's probably my only big request would be.
No, that's a good one. I mean, you go here and it could just say settings 1 load, settings 2 load. You have your whatever daytime festival mode, nighttime club mode, or that kind of thing. But on the new player, like I said, you can very easily change the brightness of the LCD or the jog LCD down here in Shortcut, right? So you don't have to go into the utility menu and then find it. It's super quick. Boom, boom, done.
Yeah, because I always have 4 Cdj'S set up normally on the rider, and to be fair, it's definitely overkill. I can't really say that I perform using 4 predominantly. Like mostly it's 3, but like the truth is it's sort of well, what's the best way to put it? I always want the show to go on, and it's just a redundancy that's set up in case there's any issues with the products, with the players, which some of these festivals, dusty festivals, and it's testing your guys' engineering all the time, isn't it? So problems happen. So
no, I just got back from Burning Man a few weeks ago, and
I saw your playlist.
I was with Deep Dish. They were playing 9 a.m. at Robart Heart, and the sun was already up, and they were struggling. It's
punishing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, so we added this mode to the shortcut menu where you can very easily change the LCD brightness and jog LCD brightness. But one thing that we've been asking the engineers to do is a daytime mode where you can invert the screen. So we've already done that on a few products. Like we have a portable product called the Omnis Duo, where you can do that. I've been begging our engineers for years now to get this done. So hopefully we can make that happen. We can always do firmware updates on these. I mean, on the Cdj'S 3000, since we launched it, we've probably had 10, 12, 14 firmware updates, so there's a lot of things we can do. And there's a really powerful processor in here. Like I said, there's a lot of memory. There's room for the product to grow.
So are there any other changes? I noticed there's some other changes here, so this edit button. So this is new. I've not seen this before. And is this indicating are you able to actually make changes to your USB that are
to the order? Yeah.
And does this stay on the USB, and then when you put it into record box, it will change the order within your record box?
You have the option to do that, yes. So
cool.
you can, all the changes that you make to the tracks and to the playlist on the player, those changes can be imported into your, what we call collection.
Which you can't do on this, right?
No, all the changes you make, like let's say you set a hot cue, you can import that into your collection, right? So you just right click on the device, and then it gives you the option, So just to explain our lingo, we call the music that's on your record box computer the collection, and we call the USB stick or the SD card the device. Right? So any changes you make to your device can be brought into your collection, right? So here, if I press edit and I put, let's take this, Carl Watson track, I put my finger right here. Let's try this again.
Sick.
Oh, okay, here we go. So now you see that yellow line?
Yeah.
Right? I can now change the order of tracks. Right. So if you have a playlist created, whatever, here's your AT demo playlist, and you're like, okay, I want to try, I want to start my set with tripping, right? You just move it to the top, and now it's there. So that's what edit is. So you can edit
Okay.
your playlists.
Are there any more, like, I'm just seeing if there's any... Oh, date added. That's new.
No, that was on the previous as well.
Was it?
Yeah. So I mean, date added can be a column, right? So if you're going in here, right? So here, right now you have artist as your column, but so this is your stick, right? But if we were to go to my stick, my local library, you can now see date added as an option, right? So all the options that are being presented to you here, you selected in Rekordbox.
Right.
So you can have sort options, and you can have options here for your second column. So by default you always have the track name, the key, the BPM, and then the preview you can hide. So if you want to see more of the track name, you get rid of preview. And the other thing that's really cool about preview, this is not a new feature, the L player has this as well, but I just want to mention it. On the mixer, you have a link queue button, right?
I love this feature. This is very handy, and not many people know how to use it.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. So if the player and the mixer are networked, right, over Ethernet, you can simply put your finger right here, and right here where you can see that green line right here, this is now playing in the headphones if link queue is turned on, right? So that means if I'm in a pinch, I only got 10, 20 seconds left to, to find my song. Instead of having to take the track and load it in to hear it, I can just put my finger here, put my finger here, put my finger here, and just listen to it really quickly to exactly the part where I'm putting, where I'm having my finger on the preview.
Yeah, I've been using that. I have to remember the features there sometimes, but so I wouldn't say I use it on every show. I definitely, when I'm like the shows that I'm doing less of now are like the club shows. So I normally play different in the clubs if I'm playing extended sets. So a lot of the time I'm actually like I need to flick through these songs to actually familiarize myself with the tracks that I don't play as often. I'm just you can plug these headphones in.
And the way it works is this player is connected to this mixer in two ways. One over the audio cable, meaning either SPDIF or RCA, or both. And then also over Ethernet, right? So if you're doing...
Sorry, can you repeat that again? What was it? What
so there's an audio cable running into the back of the mixer, which in this case is a SPDIF cable, so it's a digital cable.
Yeah.
But then there's also an Ethernet cable, right? So I can do this link queue while this player is playing out to the house, right? So I have a track playing here, my levels are up. Yeah. And then at the same time, I can listen to a different track and I can hear it in my headphones.
Yeah, this should be on now.
And the way that works is this audio right here for the link queue goes over Ethernet, right? So one audio goes over the digital audio cable and the other audio goes over the Ethernet cable. And that's what brings it in there.
That's super handy. So what is this then? Matching.
Ah, okay. So
come on, you said that you gave us all the features. There's loads you haven't told us about. I haven't seen any of this.
So matching is something that works in conjunction with Rekordbox, right? Yeah. Rekordbox analyzes your tracks, and and there's some AI there that helps analyze the tracks, and so it looks at things like BPM and key.
Huh? What?
We were getting some stutter, so I was trying to pull things off the internet, but now it's like dead.
Have we lost the internet?
Yeah, I started having everyone pull their stuff off the internet, but should make a hard drop.
1 second. Maybe there's been a full internet outage. Have we lost internet?
Oh, maybe it was all the internet.
Stream is off.
Wow. Yeah, it's just now. At least I'm starting to get messages back.
Weird. I think we lost the internet for a second.
Are we back up?
See, I'm monitoring.
Yeah, there's a lot to this. There's definitely a lot that I'm going to have to familiarize myself with. Oh, maybe.
You want to play some audio?
Yep. Seems like we are back. We good, chat? Thinking we're good.
Yeah, good.
Printer's still a little stuttery, but it's all good. Yeah, I don't know where that just came out from. We'll sort it out.
We back up? We're back?
Are we back?
Yep, we're back.
Okay, cool. There's two things. There's two things I've noticed. So I'd love to know about the matching. So, what is it?
So matching is something you need to configure in Rekordbox, right? So Rekordbox is once you tell it what you like to look for, it can find tracks that sort of match those criteria, right? And so it'll look at the obvious ones are, key and BPM, but you can also like the mood of the track or the elements of the track and so forth.
Is that an AI thing that it's been?
That's an AI thing. So that's something that we're constantly working on, that we're constantly improving. And so, once you have that set up in Rekordbox, then you can go in here and you can literally play a track, and then you can go to matching, and it'll show you all the tracks that sort of fall into that category. And the idea is that it just helps you sort of maybe rediscover tracks, right? Like tracks that are already in your library, but maybe you haven't played that track in 5 years or in 10 years.
And I can imagine that being pretty good for like the club sets and have you got anything analyzed that you can?
I actually don't have it set up on this stick.
I'll have to try it another time. That's more of a software thing, but anyway, that's available. So the second thing that I noticed when I said earlier on the stream that I finally cleaned up my record box just weeks ago. It was kind of, my tour manager Eric, he's here in the chat, and Nate's here, and I I was so proud of myself that I actually spent longer than 20 minutes messing around with my record box, getting everything cleaned up, getting all my playlists organized and sorted. And now I can actually find music really, really well and successfully. But I noticed a couple of features that are new that I was never aware of. One of them being that you can analyze within Rekordbox, you can analyze your tracks and it will show within the waveform where there's a vocal.
Right.
Which I think is really, really handy. But you can't see that on the CDJ 3000s, correct?
Correct. So one thing you can do here is if you go to shortcut, right here it says
I'm going to try this cam
wave.
actually show the... Is that a better view for the settings, or is it better staying here? Which one's better? That one?
Like, can you read waveform divisions right there? Time scale and phrase.
Well, okay.
So if you look down here, right now it's set to time scale. So it means 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, right? But you can change it to phrase, right? So this is your phrase analysis, right? So here's your intro, your outro, you know, your chorus, that kind of stuff. So that's one thing it can do.
And that's exclusive, so I don't have that option here. Oh, that's sorry, here. No.
Correct.
Okay, so we just
So there's a lot of stuff. If you compare the shortcut menu of the two players, you can see there's a lot of stuff that was added here.
Yeah.
You know? And then regarding the vocal, if you so let's see.
if you go on my stick, there should be some tracks that are analyzed like that. Probably, I'd say, let's try this one. Is that showing it? No. Let's see, what else have I put on recently? Maybe this? No. Maybe I haven't analyzed them properly. I swear I did this on something.
I'll be fully honest. I'm not sure if that's there yet or whether that's coming over a firmware update.
Right, because it's available on other players, right? It's a feature that's on some of your, like the all-in-ones, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really use them, so. I've used them once. I used them once in an after party.
Okay.
It was fun. Were you at that after party?
Which one?
Who was it?
There's been a lot of after parties.
Aspen.
No, that was the New Year's one?
Yeah, we're playing to like 10 people. It was great fun.
I saw the videos of it and...
Here's a true story, actually. Here's a true story. For that after party, I got asked to play after I played Belly Up Aspen. And the girl, one of the girls that was involved in asking me to come and play the afters, she comes up to me and she's like, she pulls up her phone and she's showing me this track and she's like, can you play this one? And it was Lola Young, Messy. And I was like, I've never heard it. I've got no idea what that is. And then, but she played like a couple of seconds of it to me. And I was like, that's actually a really good song. And then I went home the next day and that's when I went and downloaded the track, used AI stem splitter, pulled the stems, and I made my remix. That's why I haven't.
Oh, wow. That's a great story.
So cool.
Well, in the future, if your CJ3000X is connected to the internet, you can just go to Tidal, you know, or you can go to Beatport, and you can play it right there on the spot.
Would you remember,
know?
like, this is, it actually reminds me of, like, there was years ago when Deadmau5 was playing, God, this must have been, I'm trying to think how long ago this was, but Deadmau5 was playing in Vegas. And there was this guy that offered quite a lot of money. I can't remember if it was if they were public about how much money he was paid, but quite a significant amount of money was offered to play. I think it was something like Bon Jovi. I think it was like Bon Jovi or something in the middle of a Deadmau5 set. Yeah. And anyway, my one of my good friends and his tour manager at the time, Paul McRae, he had to pull up his phone, go on iTunes, spent 79 cents to download the track, then get a cable, plug the iPhone into the mixer, and Deadmau5 stopped his set, played the song off the iPhone,
Living on a prayer,
and got paid an absolute bag load of money. Good on him.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Okay.
It's definitely. I did say, I think I said if that happened, if the same thing happened to me, I'd definitely do it. I'd definitely take the money and I'd give it all to charity. And I'd tell everyone.
That's a good one.
And I'd tell everyone I did it because I think it's like I think it's a fun thing to
I
do.
remember a long time ago. Hold on, let me get back on camera. A long time ago, I think it was Chevrolet offered Moby a lot of money to use one of his tracks in a commercial, in a car commercial. But Moby, being an environmentalist, he took the money and then, I don't know, gave it to Greenpeace or something like that, you know, so, yeah.
Everyone's got their ways and their methods.
Yeah, so one other thing I wanted to show you really quick is we came out with our own USB sticks for the first time.
We were talking about this. Me and Eric were talking about this. We were saying there needs to be like a DJ standard of USB, and literally 2 weeks afterwards, you announced this. It was pretty funny.
So, hold on, I need like a key or something to open this.
I got a knife.
You got a knife?
Yeah, we were setting things up here.
Oh, you had a proper knife.
Yeah,
All right.
proper. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been thinking about this for a long time, because we just get a lot of complaints, you know, on the customer service side from people like, oh, this doesn't work and that doesn't work. And then, I don't know, 80-90% of the time, it's just the damn USB stick, right? Meaning they either people just buy cheap USB sticks, like literally buy something at a gas station for $5 and then
I've never done that.
you know, anyway. So first of all, so the feature you just mentioned, like with the vocal detection and stuff, that's a subscription only feature. And so this comes with a 3-month
Don't zoom in on the QR code.
a Rekordbox subscription. And yeah, so this is the stick, and it's got a USB-A port and a USB-C port. So with
That's similar to what I've got. Is this? Yeah, it's,
That one.
It's pretty much this one, right?
It's a variation of that one. Yeah. So we developed this together with SanDisk. We actually worked on this for 2 years. It's the fastest USB stick ever created. So it's 1,000 megabytes a second transfer speed.
I love it.
It's all metal construction. It took us quite a while to figure out a way to format it so it works with all of our gear, right? So whether you're on a Cdj 2000 Nexus or a Cdj 3000X, whether you're on an Xdj'S or an Xdj'S or an Opus Quad or whatever you're using. And of course, this also works with Rekordbox. So this is the only USB stick you can get that is guaranteed to work with all of our stuff. You know, so it's really been tested and optimized with everything we make that has a USB port, including the mixers. So you can also use this to do a firmware update on your V10 or on your A9 or so forth.
Sick.
So
okay, so this is like I like the click. Yeah, I'm going to give this a try later. Fuck, I was going to ask you something about this. My mind has gone completely blank. It happens.
Yeah.
It does happen. I wonder if I can. So, what were you saying about the firmware updates? Are you saying there's a partition in this for firmware?
no, I'm just saying we formatted it in a way that you can use it with all of our gear.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So there's all different ways of formatting a stick, and you know, so whatever. There's XFAT and there's FAT32 and there's all this stuff.
Because I've messaged you a bunch of times being confused by that, because it's like, because we've moved into a generation where, like, you know, there's the file format that we're encouraged to use for these sticks is actually quite old, isn't it?
Yes, the FAT32. Yeah.
Are these FAT32 still?
They are FAT32. Yeah, and the reason for that is, again, that you can use it with legacy products. You know, so if you're only using Cdj 3000, Cdj 3000X, then you don't need to be in FAT32. But in order to do, for example, a firmware update on a V10 or an A9, it needs to be FAT32, or a firmware update on a Cdj. So this stick you can use for everything, for firmware updates, you know, for playing on it, and so forth and so forth. You know, and even within FAT32, there's different ways of formatting it. You know,
these are the little bits that stress me out. These are the bits that have caused me the most problems, and and
that's why we created the stick. To take that anxiety away, like you just buy this, you don't have to reformat it. You just know it works.
Do you remember the weekend? That Zed, the weekend that Zed famously turned up to his Ultra set, and
yes,
plugged in his USB, and he just updated everything. Oh no, it wasn't. He just updated the record box, and there was a problem with the record box update that year. I was on the phone to you the night before because I'd had exactly the same problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been scarred ever since. I'm so careful of like all of these updates, and making sure that everything works to the point that the last 3 weeks, because I've made so many wholesale changes to my record box, I've been so unconvinced that I've done it correctly that every show I've done, I've had a setup in the green room.
Really?
Every show, and it's actually like it's completely saved my bacon because I've had a problem at every show that I've had to fix on the system. So it's been pretty handy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you completely redid your record box on your flight over to Chicago, and then the last second asked for a Cdj. You plugged it in, and you realized you had fucked up the entire thing.
How did you manage to do that?
I'm a 43-year-old DJ that just doesn't spend enough time keeping organized. It's like I really changed a lot of stuff, and I was like, okay, I've changed so much stuff. I have to make sure that this is going to work.
Well, I mean, first of all, if you have 4 Cdjs on stage, always bring 4 USB sticks.
Yeah.
Secondly,
I do that, right?
Don't update all your USB sticks if you're not 100% sure, right? If there was an update or something, maybe update 2 of them and not update the other 2.
Yes,
like
I do that.
If Zed had done that in that situation, that would have saved it.
There we go. Zed. You should have known better.
So,
yeah.
Is Anton listening?
We'll find out soon. No, I'll probably get clipped. No, I'm sure he's the same as me. I mean, you have to have redundancy. I don't have 4 USBs anymore. I do 3. There was a while I actually had 6, but I don't keep updating them all the time. It's like
we launched these at EDC Vegas, and I gave one of them to Armin van Buren, and he said, can I get 10 more, please? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I need 1 for each player. That's 4. Then I need a backup of each of them. That's 4 more. Then I have another one in my pocket just in case, And then like my tour director has 2 more. So, Armin, I know Tiesto, I know some of these guys literally have like 10 sticks.
Okay, well, I'll tell you something. He's going to be really mad. I'd probably be really pissed off that I say this, but on the other end of the spectrum, I remember he doesn't do this anymore, but for about 3 or 4 years, Fisher was like, he was headlining festivals. He was doing big shows. He had 1 USB, no backup, none. It was like, and honestly, like everyone was like, "Are you kidding? This is a disaster waiting to happen."
I'm not. You
gotta wait.
I'm not surprised.
Of course,
we all know Fisher. That's not surprising.
But he made it work. So I would have been pretty funny if it went completely tits up though. Can I get the I can't see the chat anymore.
Interesting.
Because when you reset the chat, when you reset the stream.
Actually, shouldn't do that though.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm actually curious if there are any questions.
Yeah, I want to hear what everyone's thinking about.
There's definitely a couple of good questions. Someone had asked about, or if it doesn't exist, if it's like a feature request of, is there any way to actually link a Cdj and send over a firmware update to another Cdj?
No, there isn't. No, that the firmware update has to be done from a USB stick. I'm not sure I've gotten that request before. It's interesting.
Look at that.
So you have one that's updated and one that's not updated, and then because they're on the same network, you're sending the firmware over.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There's a way to make it like parity between the two.
Yeah. I mean, you always get a message if they're not the same firmware. You kind of get an error. I mean, it still works, but you get a pop up. And the firmware update, in case anybody's wondering, is loop in and then the reloop exit button. The player's turned off, you press these 2 buttons, and then you power it up, and then it asks you to put the USB stick in. And the firmware has to be in the root of the USB stick. If it's hidden in a folder, it can't see it.
Right.
You know, and so when you download it from our website, it's usually zipped up.
Yeah.
You know, so you unzip it, you put it in the root of the stick. The stick has to be FAT32, and then it works, and then it takes like
So me and Eric,
a minute or something.
me and Eric learned of a new feature that I had no idea existed, and it's like there's like a maintenance mode on this or something where you can put it into a mode, and then you can check that all the buttons are working.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see it? I haven't tried it yet. I forwarded a video, and I think this is like I thought this is how long has this existed first off, and then
It's existed for a really long time. We actually don't like publicly communicate that. Like it's not on our website or whatever. And I'll be fully honest, I actually have to look up to remember how it works.
It's the best
off,
thing.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember what it is. So
No, but it's so
I
good.
have to look it up. So it's something we communicate to our dealer network, our authorized service centers.
no, because
that type of thing.
because Eric's in here right now. We have like
Service mode to check everything. I see it. Yeah.
like actually Eric, maybe you can forward me the video. Let me see if I've got it. Eric, I want to see this thing because I think it's amazing.
Wookie's in here. He's also asking, is there a new firmware for the 3000s along with the 3000Xs?
No, but we're going to continue to do firmware updates on the 3000. I mean, it's going to slow down. There's going to be less firmware updates on the 3000 than on the 3000X. But yeah, so far there hasn't been, but there's going to be more firmware updates, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. He's going to send that to Nate right now. So throw your questions. I'm interested, so I can anything that I can throw at Lars, so we can figure out what's going on with these players. Because I've got a lot to get my head around, but I'm interested if anyone else has got anything that they want to know. Thank you for coming on, by the way. I really appreciate this.
Having me.
I really like. We did this on the last. On the last round when these got updated, we've done this on the mixers as well. You've always walked me through everything, and I was like, well, I'm streaming now, let's actually do this and share what you'd be showing me anyway. I would have done this. Maybe this comes across like a sponsored post, which is not. I
also want to shout you out because every time I've reached out to you for a product planning meeting, you've always been there for me, right? So, I mean, we just talked about it. I showed you very early prototype of this player 2 years ago when we went to San Diego. But I remember you helped me develop the I think it was the Cdj'S headphones, the AS1 mono synth, right? Like I think the Theta SP16, like there was a bunch of stuff that that you were involved in, and so
it's fun doing it. It's fun.
Without people like you, who whatever open their doors and are available not just at festivals, but opening up your studio and us sitting down together for like 2-3 hours and really brainstorming and talking it through. We wouldn't be able to do this, No,
but it's fun. It's like we were talking downstairs earlier, and I was saying how it's like it's funny how I feel like electronic music, dance music, we're definitely perceived as like a very forward-thinking, technology-forward kind of industry. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that kind of come along that when change is actually presented, you actually realize a lot of people are like, oh, don't change it.
Yeah,
this is a problem. I like how things are, and like sometimes I feel like I'm very technology forward, but like at the same time, I want to I want to get comfortable with some of these changes, but like I was thinking. The other thing I mentioned was the fact that this is not a Pioneer DJ anymore. You're now called Alphatheta, which was like, I thought that was one of the biggest, heaviest kind of like reactions on the internet of the last couple of years when the company name had to change, and I was wondering if you could share with everyone here what you told me downstairs about actually why you changed it to Alphatheta.
So the name didn't have to change, right? So we have a perpetual license to use the Pioneer DJ name, right? Because a lot of people are saying that out there, like, oh, yeah, they had to change it. It was a choice. It was something that we decided to do. But what happened was 10 years ago, Pioneer Electronics sold 85% of our division, the DJ division, to KKR at the time. And private equity being private equity, after 5 years, they flipped us. They sold us to a Japanese company called Noritsu Koki. And at the same time, Noritsu Koki also bought the 15% that Pioneer Electronics was still holding on to. So that happened 5 years ago. So 10 years ago, when the sale happened, we changed our company name from Pioneer Corporation to Pioneer DJ Corporation, right? So if you look at the back of a CDJ 2000 Nexus, it'll say Pioneer. If you look at the back of a CDJ 2000 Nexus 2, it'll say Pioneer DJ, you know? And so 5 years ago, we changed the name of the company, the corporation, to Alphatheta.
Yeah.
And then at that point, we had no products branded Alphatheta, you know? But then over time, it occurred to us, you know, we're trying to grow as a company. And Pioneer DJ, we felt, kind of holds us back a little bit for two reasons. Number one, Pioneer's in it, but we're no longer affiliated with Pioneer. But number two, DJ's in it. And of course, we're known as a DJ company, but we also make speakers. We make monitor speakers, right? Like somebody who wants to buy, I don't know, a 5 or an 8-inch speaker to put in their recording studio. You know, if they're not a DJ, maybe they're not going to buy a speaker that's a Pioneer DJ. Or we make, I don't know, powered speakers, like 15-inch powered speakers, you know, 18-inch, you know, subwoofers, that kind of stuff. You know, and the people who buy that might be guitarists or might be drummers or bass players or whatever, you know. And again, if they have a choice between a JBL and a QSC and a Pioneer DJ, you know, they may go, that's for DJs, that's not for me, you know. So we felt it was kind of holding us back a little bit, the same way that, you know, Apple at one point decided we're no longer Apple computers, we're not Apple, you know. And ever since they changed their name, you know, they've blown up and they've been releasing phones and iPads, and computers has become a really small part of what they did. That's not to say that DJ is going to become a small part of what we're doing. That's always our main focus, you know. But we just felt Alphatheta was just something more neutral, something more inclusive. And, you know, it's just like, I don't know, Delta or Omega or whatever. It's a Greek letter that you can, you know, it's like an empty vessel you can
well,
fill with meeting.
Well, that's actually just pointed out something I've noticed, that you actually don't even really have any branding here at all, do you? So you've actually kept it much cleaner.
Yeah, so if you look at the side panel, it does say Alphatheta right there.
Which no one will ever see.
And then,
Yeah.
And then on the back, you got the swirl, our Alphatheta logo. But you're right, on the top, it's
clean.
It no longer says, there's no longer a brand there, you know? So yeah, the whole, you know, also, you know, the tempo slider, we've removed the lines, you know, on the jog, we've removed, you know, the forward, the reverse, you know, it's just a cleaner, more minimal look.
There was another button you've got rid of. Ah, yeah, there we go. Time and auto cue. So
Yes.
what's going on here?
So that's now on the GUI, right? So if you want to change your time mode, you simply press the time mode, the time, you know. So from this is remain, and this is
That's another little tick that I'm going to have to overcome.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's very cool. All right, sorry, I'll go back to the questions.
So there's a couple of good questions. One from Simon, actually. So
Simon.
Yeah, Simon.
Hello, Simon. I told you about Simon before. I think I put you in contact with him. He's definitely gonna have a good question.
Okay.
He said, we had a network switch get hit with champagne last week in New York.
Okay. You warned me.
This is honestly the kind of question I expected to come from him.
And all Cdj's lost connection went into emergency loop mode. If you are only using 1x USB and the network switch goes down, will the track still have downloaded on the tag list to the other Cdj, or is it only on the Cdj with the USB in?
That's a good question.
Okay, so you've tagged the track, and the question is it on all the tag list?
Yes, if the network switch goes down.
He's basically saying, so if you've got let's say 4 Cdjs, you've tagged this track
Well,
here.
the tag list is associated with the stick, right? So you can see, so the other player, so if the player that's still up is the one with the stick in it, right? But the other player can't connect to the one with the stick in it because the network is down, then the tag list is gone.
Yeah, so he's like, that's kind of like linked to what I was saying before. You know how I was saying if I was asking if like a track is stored into memory when it's tagged,
Right.
and he's asking that like if that was the case, if that was stored in, would that also be stored across all of the connected devices, so that then all the connected devices would still have access to that track if the network went
Right.
down.
So
Which I'm guessing we should know at the moment.
the answer is no. Yeah. Yep.
So
cool.
don't
Pretty-
spray champagne.
Yeah, don't spray champagne. That's such a Tau problem. that is such a Tau problem.
Sure as that fucking marquee.
And this also comes back down to have one device in each deck.
Yeah.
You know, just bring, if you got 4 decks on your tech writer, make sure you got 4 USB sticks and there's one in each, you know, because that's typically the most common thing to go down, right? It's either the Ethernet cable, it's the LAN switch, or it's the LAN port.
What just happened there?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, we just unplugged it.
Oh, was that me?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh,
Oh, good,
okay.
we're good.
That's so funny. We're talking about the whole system going down, and yes, it just went down.
Well, yeah, I would hope that show would be a little bit more secure than how we plugged
Yeah,
it.
no. Honestly, we've realised we set this up last night to be able to film all of this, and it's a bit janky, but it's doing the job.
It's doing the job.
It's doing the job. Yeah.
I like this desk.
It's not bad, huh?
Yeah.
You know who found like Chloe Fisher found it. She bought one for Paul, and I saw it, and I'm like, I want exactly the same thing, and it's actually pretty. It's not that expensive. Not that expensive at all. Sorry. So where were we?
So
That was yours.
yeah, that's mine. I'm still waiting for the connection to the internet, so that's still happening. That's still in the process, but yeah, we can connect to your local.
Playlist. Yeah, we were playlist AT demo. Yeah.
Eric also had another question. He said, will the 3000Xs have any new features or upgrades for front of house when using show control? Do you know that show control is TC Supply, which is
Yes.
a different company?
Yeah.
But, I mean, even if it's just supported with, like, some of the new waveform stuff, I guess that's really more of them question than you guys. They have access to that?
So I work closely with the show control guys, and they've been involved in testing the players. So they received the players like 3 months ago or so, you know. So they've made sure that everything works, you know. So there's currently no new features, you know, but I can report that it works flawlessly with show control. So for anybody who wants to upgrade their tech writer now to the 3000X, you know, it works with show control. David has been testing it for months.
Oh, amazing.
Excuse me. Is the I want to look at some of the browsing stuff here. Yeah, oh, that's weird. Let's go for this one again. Excuse me. I've always talked to you about the beat jump stuff, which I use all the time. And at the moment, you've got like you can jump 64. You can jump 64 beats. That's the maximum you can jump at the moment. Are there any, like, I noticed when you were talking about you can use this to browse along your waveform to then set a cue point. So let's just say we want to set a cue point here. Like, that's one of the new features you can do. So is there a way that you can use this to jump as well?
To do a quantized beat jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's a request that we've been getting. So that's something we're looking into. So maybe that could be added.
Yeah, I mean, which is like, you don't need it if you're a prepared DJ. But what I'm telling you is I'm not. So I often have not set things up properly, and it's, you know, sometimes I've had to do some quite janky skips to get to achieve what I want to achieve with
But I
skips and
think what I
everything.
just showed you
That's a solution as well.
really is the solution to that, right? Because you can be
I can throw
very
forward and then I can just hit
you
the
can be very precise. You know, it's actually a preferred way. If I had a choice between the two, right?
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're
Because most of the
right.
time, I mean, like, I think the most common scenario is you want to jump over a breakdown, right? So let me
Yeah.
just zoom in a little more, right there. So,
It's weird how it's doing this. It's not going beat by beat, isn't it? Is it? It's going bar by bar, right?
let me find another port. Let's try and set one at the end of the breakdown, maybe? At the end of the track?
Yeah, it's going bar by bar. It's going by the red dots.
Yeah. So, well, the problem is your one is off.
I know.
So
Let's
that
do
was
this on a different track then.
Yeah.
So let's go probably numbers. That's correct.
That's
So,
correct.
okay,
And you know, just as an FYI, if you wanted to fix it, you actually can fix it on the player as well, right? So if you go here and you press and hold this right here, you can now see you can make all sorts of adjustments to the grid. I'm not going to do this right now. I don't want to mess up your adjustments, but you can do. That's also a new feature on the 3000X. You can double the BPM and you can halve the BPM, right? So we can also call this the Grimes feature.
right.
So if you have a track that is 80 BPM, but it tells you it's 160, right? Like especially with like broken beats, you know, that sometimes happens, you know, with the drum and bass track, for example, it'll tell you it's 80 when in reality it's 160.
Yeah.
You know, so you can now very simply double or half it, and you can make all these adjustments, you know, so you can shift the beat grid, but you can also sort of compress it and expand it, which actually changes the BPM. So all the changes that you can make in Rekordbox, you can also make right here. And if you press and hold it again, now you've exited that mode.
I'll never remember that. Thanks for telling me that.
So once again, let's pretend we want to jump over the first breakdown,
Yeah.
right? We put our finger right here. Boom, that's the end of the first breakdown. I'm going to set a hot QB there.
Beautiful. So then I can like, okay, then sort of like, right, okay, cool.
So
That's very cool.
So I think that's even better than a quantized
Nah,
beat
you're
jump,
probably right.
because even with a quantized beat jump, you're like, you know, it's a little less precise. Because here, if you set your hot cue, right, like let's say I set another hot cue here at the end of this breakdown, if I just messed up, you know, I can fix it, right? Here's my hot cue C, but before I actually jump to hot cue C, I can see it and I can decide whether I'm happy with it or not. If I'm not happy with it, I go to delete.
Oh, right.
It's gone. You know, you just press this button.
That's
right
funny. Okay, I've seen that button there for. I never knew you could do that.
here. Okay.
I never knew you could do that.
So that's how you delete a hot cue. So let's set another hot cue maybe here. Boom, right there. And then now I can verify. I can look. Oh, that looks good to me. And now.
Right. I like that.
London's on fire.
London's on fire. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I actually really like that. That might make my mixing better, because I've definitely done some janky beat jumps, especially when I'm doing back to backs, and like whoever, like I've done it a couple of times, and Fish has just looked at me. He's like, "That was fucking horseshit," and he was right. It was complete dog shit. So, all right, cool. I'm trying to think what else I want to ask you about this then.
There's been a couple questions about, is there any plans for stem separation to be a feature for 3000Xs, or just even just like a down the line idea?
So we're well aware of all the requests for stem separation. You know, like that's been a bit of a game changer these last few years. You know, all the technology that's come out. To do it cleanly and precisely takes an enormous amount of processing power. So we're still trying to figure out. So you can do stem separation if you are playing off the laptop, right? So if you're using Rekordbox performance mode, connect your laptop to the Cdj's, you already have that, you know, but it does require, you know, a fairly powerful laptop. We're talking like M2 and up, you know, but to actually do it on the player, would take a really, really powerful processor, you know. So we're looking into
Which
that.
would make it unbelievably expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'll be honest with you. I really hope you don't do it because it's honestly it's going to make really bad DJs much worse. It's going to sound fucking terrible. Honestly, it'll be like one of the worst things that can happen. It's already happening in tracks that are being made because AI. Everyone can rip a vocal now,
right,
and you can hear it in the music. It's fucking awful.
But if it was clean, though, if it was precise,
yeah, if it's clean, but it probably won't be.
Right. Well, but that's the thing. Like with us, sometimes it takes us a little longer to come out with that new feature, but when we finally come out with it, it works.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, we're not going to put someone like you who performs in front of 10,000 people every weekend in a position where the stem separation is okay, but not good enough, right? Mm-hmm. It needs to be like reliably precise. Where if you take this stem away, whether it's the vocal or whether it's the drums or whatever, you need to know what's going to happen, right? You need to have, you know, your expectations met, you know. So we're definitely researching that. We're looking into that, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to take a good bit of time. And the technology's there in other areas. It is there for production. It's great if it's used well. And yeah, I've been using it a bit recently. Do you use Ableton? Do you ever do production or anything?
I used to, like, you know, 25 years ago. You know, I used to produce.
They've got some really good news.
Yeah, I've seen, you know, there's stem separation now in Ableton.
It's really good.
Yes. Yeah.
Really good.
But it is very good, but it's also very processor intense.
Yeah.
You know, so you need a really powerful computer for it to run it, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's still in the beta it's still in the beta phase at the moment, and you have to put a script in at the moment to be able to even like select the high quality mode. Like the automatic is like a fast stem separation. You have to go into you have to make a little text edit adjustment to the back end settings of Ableton to be able to actually have the high quality version, which is really annoying. But it's really, really good. Anyway, I'm going to get onto production stuff. I find that stuff really, really exciting. I've been using it the last couple of weeks, and but yeah, it's just like you can't expect these players to be anywhere near like that kind of. Well, I mean, honestly, PCs are not really running it anywhere close to what Apple's systems are running like. That's all their own proprietary chips and, you know, software, and it's going to take years for, you know, other devices to get up to that level. So
yeah, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
Oh yeah, SD slot. Where's that?
We actually removed it.
You removed it, okay?
Yes,
cool.
We replaced it with the USB-C slot.
I like it. For some reason, why was I thinking that maybe there was one other? So the only thing that's on the front now is the NFC.
Yeah, and it was funny when we launched this, and there were like photos getting leaked or whatever. Everyone's like, "What is this?" Like, no one really guessed what that was, you know. So it's quite fun, you know. You just put your phone in front of it, and boom. So what this means is, you don't need your USB stick anymore. You know, you could literally just walk up to a club that's where the Cdj's are connected to the internet.
Eric, you listening?
You know, you just hold your phone in front of it, and you can access your entire Rekordbox cloud library, your title, your Beatport, whatever it is, you know.
But you can't use the phone as your library, right?
No, you not wirelessly. You could wire your phone. There's like a camera connection kit that allows you to connect it, so you could play off of that, you know. But that's not wireless. So Rekordbox Mobile allows you to log in, so that's really what we're encouraging DJs to do. Put your music in the cloud. Because the thing with the phone is, we've talked to a lot of DJs about this. The thing with the phone is everyone says, I need my phone for multiple things, not just for DJing, right? You receive text messages, you take photos with the crowd, you want to be on whatever, you want to post on Instagram while you're DJing or whatever it is, So if you want to DJ off the phone, I think you need a dedicated DJ phone.
It's funny, I'm thinking different. I'm thinking like, I feel like this technology is potentially allowing me to walk into the club with 2% battery and walk out with 100. It's like,
you can use
saying,
this to charge your phone. You can do that.
Well, can you also does it work in both ways of like you could plug in a charge but also as your data transfer, so like it can pull record blocks off your phone or even have that be your Wi-Fi source almost? So like instead of a USB, could you actually hardline your phone in as your USB quote?
That's what I was meaning. Yeah.
That you can do, yeah. So there's, it's a bit of a workaround. There's a very specific cable that you need in order for that to work. It's made by Apple. It's like a camera connection kit, whatever. So there is a way of doing that. But using your phone as your internet source, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, you're shit out of luck there.
Actually, Simon hit us with another question. Simon is.
It's going to be honestly like all the really well thought out questions are definitely going to come. Well, not all of them, but like Simon's going to have some juicy ones.
No champagne in this one. Talking about the L Acoustic Spatial Audio sound systems. Are you across on this at all?
I'm aware of it. I was literally emailing with them yesterday, trying to set up a meeting for next week at their facilities in, I think, Woodland Hills. So I'm keen to check that out. What's the question?
Are you looking to do anything with them? So.
At least
the door's being open.
So it's funny because I was working with them about 8 years ago or so, and we were looking into that. And the thing is, we don't really make anything that has multi-channel audio out. The only thing we made at the time was the Cdj'S SP16 that had 4 stereo outputs. And so we actually rigged that up and tried to emulate what DJs would do and so forth. And so those were like our early attempts. And it's kind of funny how this has come full circle because I met with the president of L Acoustics at the AES show in New York like 8 years ago when they first launched what they call Elisa. And back then, they were demonstrating it with orchestras. They were demonstrating it with jazz bands, but it was all live music.
I've got no idea what you guys are talking about. L Acoustics, a speaker company.
Yes.
So we're like.
So
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
When I approached them, I said, "Have you ever thought about doing anything with recorded music?"
Right.
And they were like, "No." I'm like, maybe you should, So we started talking. I had meetings with them and we experimented for like a few years, but it kind of fizzled out and it didn't really go anywhere. And then all of a sudden, I saw their announcement. They're like, "Oh, L Acoustics for DJ," So I'm looking to look. I'm going to explore that. I mean, we also worked with Dolby Atmos for a while. So there was Dolby Atmos for DJ. But that also fizzled out, So, I mean, how do you feel about it?
I couldn't give a fuck. Okay. I genuinely couldn't give a fuck. I think it's like, I don't think, I mean, I do. We've done Dolby mixes. We did Dolby mixes of a couple of tracks on the album. It's important to Apple.
Yes.
It's important to Apple. I don't think it's important to house music. I don't think it's important to house music. Of course, there's applications. I mean, you can see now there's venues that are moving. There's venues that are starting to crop up. Like if you look at the Sphere, where that kind, like Dolby audio, like spatial situational audio is going to be valuable in those sort of situations, and you know, it being in a specific direction in a spherical stage, but it's so niche, and it's I think, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like I sometimes feel like some of these additional layers of immersion are not necessarily necessary for enjoyment. I think listening to music in stereo is more than satisfying enough.
Right. I find it really powerful with live bands. So the sound system at the Santa Barbara Bowl is an L Acoustics Elisa system, and so when the very first time that system was used for spatial audio was with Odessa, and they brought out a vocalist, and I was at front of house literally watching the guy from L Acoustics move a joystick so that when you looked at the vocalist and she was walking down the stage, the vocal would go with her, right? So it sounds like, you know, like an amphitheater, like back in the day, like, you know, in whatever, the Greek days, you know, when there was no amplification, you know. So that's a really powerful experience when you see a vocalist or whatever, all of a sudden there's a saxophone solo and the saxophone player walks across and you like, you know, you can, it sounds like the music is coming out of the trumpet or out of the saxophone.
Which is great if you're putting forethought into it, and it, like you're making that part of the experience. But for me, you know, like when I think about, I'm just not making the music with that thought. That's not my intention, and so really I have to accommodate the technology after I've perfected the song for the medium of choice, which is, you know, well, stereo, just listening to it on stereo speakers. And so when you're trying to convert music from stereo to then accommodate all of these extra speakers and positions and that, it's an afterthought, and it feels like an afterthought. Now, I'm not saying I'm completely against the technology, and that there's definitely applications for it, but can I see myself ever specifically making music primarily for Dolby Atmos? No, I don't care enough. I don't feel like I don't feel.
It sounds great in a confined space like a car. Like I got a Dolby Atmos demo a few years ago, outside of Stamped Records, Martin Garrix's studio in Amsterdam doing ADE.
I actually recorded. I recorded one of the vocals for the album on that in that studio.
And they had a Maybach, like a $250,000 car with, according to them, the best sound system was ever put into a car. And then inside, you just went to Apple Music and you selected a song, and it was like Tiesto's Boom Boom Boom, and then it goes boom 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 boom, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool, you know. But I don't know how you really replicate that in a club, you know, because there's a club in San Francisco called Halcyon that has a Pioneer Pro Audio system, and that used to be a Dolby Atmos club. We installed, I don't know, 20 speakers or 30 speakers under the ceiling to accommodate the Dolby Atmos thing, and then maybe, I don't know, 5-6 times a year, an artist would come in and they would, you know, Dolby's headquarters in San Francisco, you know, so they would go to Dolby's headquarters and literally spend 2 or 3 days preparing for the DJ set. And then, you know, you're on the dance floor and you're trying to appreciate what's going on. But unless it's like an obvious one where you have a bass line like going circles around you like a helicopter, you know, it's really not that noticeable. And then some people would actually overdo it, and you would be on the dance floor and you would be like on the verge of like dizziness. You know, you're like, whoa, this is disorientating. You know, so you got to be careful with it. It can't be gimmicky. Like there's a few artists. Kerry Chandler's an example. Like he's done Dolby Atmos set at Ministry of Sound and stuff like that, and he would put a lot of effort into it, and it's an enjoyable experience. But again, I don't know if it makes sense at Omnia. Or, you know, whereas in a car it makes a lot of sense.
You'd be surprised how many club systems don't even like. There's a lot of systems that aren't even stereo.
Most clubs are run mono. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's shocking. It's actually shocking how like you'd think that. Yeah, anyhow, just fucking crazy. I think it's a few. I want to get let's answer a few more questions that are not Simon. Go for it.
I immediately saw someone. Will there be more streaming options coming to the 3000Xs in the future?
You said yeah.
I didn't say yes. I didn't promise anything, but we're talking to the other companies that are out there. It's kind of up to them. We're open to it. It's not easy to make it happen because there need to be certain agreements in place with the record labels. So with Tidal, for example. What I demonstrated earlier is only possible because I'm paying for the DJ plan, which is like an additional $9, right? So you got the regular $11 Tidal plan, and then for an additional $9, you can DJ with Tidal, so it kind of makes sense. And, we're also concerned about that, about the writers of the music being compensated fairly and properly, because right now, most DJs download their music, whether they go to Beatport or to iTunes or whatever it is, but they download a track. And, personally, I always download everything as AIFF. So I pay whatever, it's $250 on Beatport or something like that. Right.
In this economy. And,
but if everyone now were to move over to streaming, I think the amount of money that you as a writer would probably go down because, the amount of money you make from Spotify is
fuck all.
That's what you said.
No, well, I mean,
yeah. So, that also concerns us, so that's something we're also trying to figure out how we can contribute to that.
I got a way with words. I don't know what to say.
Someone had asked, is there also any plans in the future for one CDJ being able to emulate multiple players? So like how on some of the controllers you can have like multiple layers.
Right.
Is there any plans to bring that to the 3000Xs?
Not really. We looked into that, and I know Denon has experimented with that, but we've gotten very little demand for that. And the thing with these players is, again, they're being used by people like Chris in front of thousands and thousands of people. It's kind of funny. Like everyone who works with me knows that when I meet the engineers and they present something to me, the number one question I always have is, "Can you use it drunk in the dark?" Because that realistically is the environment that you operate in.
And invariably.
And
no.
if you're in an office and you got bright lights, it's a completely different situation, right? So if you now have a second layer, right, where you can use this one deck and you can play two tracks from the same deck, maybe that's something practical at home and it saves you money. But is that something that someone like a Chris Lake would use when he stands in front of 10,000 people? We've concluded no.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. Totally, that was my thought process too. Is most anywhere you roll up to, you're going to have at least 4 CDJs.
Mm.
That is the basic standard tech rider of pretty much everyone who plays.
Headliners, it's a lot. It is. It's like I'd say the normal would be 2, and I wouldn't say it's normal for people to have 4.
Even at you don't think they're like the club.
You're thinking like you shoot at top level festivals. I wouldn't say it's like I wouldn't say that's everywhere.
Just even like the average club experience, even if you're not headlining.
What do you reckon is the average setup for clubs?
I mean, it depends on the caliber of club. I mean, even something like a Sound nightclub here in LA, which has a capacity of like 500.
Sounds different. Like that's a legit. That's a
yeah. So they, even there, the setup is always 4 decks. But if you're going into, a lower tier club or maybe a club that's a little more mainstream, where the caliber of DJ is different. Then it could be anything. It could be 2 players, but in some cases it could also be like an all-in-one or something like that, like an Cdj'S, or something like that. You see that as well. But I agree with you that in any of the like legit clubs or festivals, it's always 4 decks. you know. And of course, most DJs don't play on 4 decks simultaneously. Maybe they use one just for browsing, or they use one just for
It's proper overkill, isn't it? But it's
for stems or whatever, right? Like I know a lot of DJs who they like having one player just for like acapellas or like that kind of thing. I mean, how do you do it?
I predominantly use 3, and I mix across 3, and I don't really. It doesn't bother me which 3 of the 4 I use, but it's more common than you'd think that you have problems with a lot of the events that I play. The equipment is not. It's not permanent equipment. It's rented.
Right.
A lot of the rented equipment is not treated that well, and it fails. It fails a lot. So it's really common, especially in some of the major festivals. Like you probably see that's probably where there's most of the failures on some of the big festivals. It's very common that there's problems with the equipment, whether it's like the fact that. The one I think about is EDC Mexico years ago. I remember I was playing one of the early slots, and it was absolutely baking hot, and I couldn't even really touch the screen. It was like everything was in direct sunlight, and so like these CDJs are getting used for like 10, 12 hours for like at the beginning of the festival, like 4, 5, 6 hours in direct sunlight, and then when the headliners come on, the things are fucked, and they're failing. And so I always, the 4 for me is redundancy.
Right.
So, at the least I can play on 2. I predominantly use 3. On very rare occasions, I'll be making use of all 4. But a lot of it's about redundancy to make sure that the show can keep going.
But if you play a major festival like an EDC Vegas, EDC Orlando, Ultra Coachella, something like that, you have tech problems?
Yeah. 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 And it varies. Like, Eric's on here. Eric can say if he's still here. I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, we they're just various silly little things, and it's like a lot of it's because we're outdoors and weather and rain and things, all these things that can come along. It's like, I mean, it's like you're always going to have a problem with electronics. It's like it's why you got a problem with lights, you got a problem with everything.
But we're actively working to prevent those issues. Yeah. So one of the reasons I go to Burning Man is because it was. You
come up with all the excuses you want, mate. You just want to go and have a good time.
So actually,
guys, honestly, this is honestly for research purposes. I really need to go. Sorry, carry on.
So in 2016, Morgan Page contacted me and said, I just got back from Burning Man, and every player that I tried to play on, the Q and the play buttons weren't working. And his workaround was he performed his entire DJ set with just hot Q buttons, right? And so 2 of us went there, and we had just begun working on the Cdj 3000. So this is 2017 now when we went. The play and Q button are significantly more durable on the 3000 than the 2000 Nexus 2 as a direct result of the research we did.
Yeah, I never really have problems with the play button.
And so on this one, we increased the durability even more, right? So here on these buttons now, you have 3 million button presses.
I'm just picturing the testing. I'm just like, this is, I've said this on stream. I just always think of James Hype. He's like, because he's just like he's the biggest fucking button banger, isn't he? I'm just like picturing you employ him for like 2 days, and he's just like.
Actually, we got robots for that.
But like he hits it like a robot. It's impressive.
But we do all that kind of testing, and no one in our industry does that. We got robots who do literally 3 million button presses. So I can tell you.
What's the DJ name?
Yeah, we should probably name the robots. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, so but also putting it in these extreme environments where there's extreme heat and extreme dust and extreme sunshine and all this kind of stuff. So that's all part of the testing, you know.
Yeah, because this is like for me, like for the daytime parties, this is the area that gets hammered the most. Was the top strip. That was always the area that I had like the most failure in that. So,
Do you see screens like shades on the players at some of the daytime festivals?
yeah, some.
Okay.
The festival's more like Simon's in it. So sometimes they don't use a lot of the covers. They probably should do so. Yeah, and they just getting hammered all the time. It's the Vegas heat, man. It's like the Vegas sun is punishing. So, yeah. Is anyone any other questions?
I think you got addressed a little bit earlier, but daytime mode on the 3000X screens. People are just asking if that's a thing that's in the pipeline.
That's in the pipeline. That's definitely, it's been on the request list for many years. So yeah, really hoping that the engineers are
Listening?
They I don't think they're listening right now. It's still very early morning in Japan, but no, we have reported that, you know. So we get that request a lot, and we get that request more than ever. You know, like I think playing daytime parties is more of a thing now than it used to be. You know, it used to be all about the dark clubs, and now whether it's Burning Man, whether it's Coachella, whether it's Tomorrowland, I mean, there are just so many examples of daytime parties, you know, where people are DJing at not just during sunset, but are literally playing at 2 or 3 in the afternoon in the bright sun, you know.
What's Josh saying? Unrelated to the 3000X, but is it possible in the future for the Rekordbox mobile app to read the Rekordbox database on a connected USB?
Interesting. So in theory, yes. I actually just got a request from Clever and Stroke 2 days ago, and he said, I don't want to take my laptop with me when I go on the road. I just wanted to take my iPad with me, and I want to do everything on my iPad and then export to the device from the iPad. You know, so that would require that, right? That the iPad can read the USB stick and you can export to it. You know, so that is theoretically possible. You know, so I actually just discussed that with the Rekordbox team like 2 days ago.
So basically, everything that I can do on the computer, I could actually technically do on an iPad. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and you sort of already can do that. It's just that you need to be connected to the cloud, right? And you can't export from the iOS device to the stick. But if you use Rekordbox Mobile to adjust the beat grid or to set a hot cue, and your track is in the cloud, you know, like let's say you do all this work while you're in a car, and then you check into your hotel and you open your computer and your computer connects to the internet. All the stuff that you just did on your phone and Rekordbox Mobile, you know, then shows up on your desktop because your music is in the cloud.
Nice. Fuck. Technology's getting really good. I've definitely got a lot to get my head around. I'm going to have to, I'm going to mess around with these for the next couple of days and try and figure out what's going on.
And you can see right here, because your stick is connected, it says no authentication key.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I can set up in Rekordbox.
Exactly. In Rekordbox, it's literally just clicking a button, and then when you go to My Stick, you know, you can see right here. You can now log in. So if you press log in.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Sorry. Go back again. I wasn't on the screen. Oh yeah, you're logging in right now.
So now I'm logged into Tidal. Beatport it doesn't automatically log in. So with Beatport, this NFC doesn't work yet. So you just press on login and you type in your username and your password, which I'm not going to do right now because I don't want to share my password with you guys.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. All right. Well, I think you got to go. You've got an event, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I do have to go. I need to be at Guitar Center in 40 minutes in Hollywood. So, for anybody watching in in LA, we're doing an event with Toki Monster at Guitar Center Hollywood on Sunset, starting at 6. Perfect. So I'm gonna head over there for setup in a little bit. So yeah, open to the public.
Say hi to Toki Monster. She's amazing. She's a great artist.
Yep.
I haven't seen her for a little while, so thank you. I wonder when I'm actually going to first get to play on these.
Simon says he has 2.
Bang! I'm going to be playing them on Saturday.
Where are you playing on Saturday?
I'm playing at Palm Tree Beach Club in Vegas during the day.
Okay.
So I'll get to try them out. So I'll be practicing on these the next few hours and try and figure out how to use them.
I think you'll figure it out.
I think I'll figure it out. It's not too bad. It's just exactly. It's just some of the. I think it's just some of the browsing things I'm going to have to get used to. It's all this is pretty straightforward.
Someone asked where you can actually RSVP for the Toki Monster event. There's quite a few people in LA who want to go, or is it just show up?
I think you just show up. I don't think there's an RSVP needed. So it's a 3-hour event from 6 to 9 p.m. And, she's DJing, but it's also like a fireside chat, kind of thing. So yeah, just show up. I guess the earlier you get there, the better your chances are of getting in. Yep.
That's not. Yeah, there can't be that many people being able to get in there. It's not that big of a store.
I haven't been to the Hollywood one before.
It's a big store.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Like decent size.
Decent.
Not. It's
Hi,
more
Caroline.
decent.
Caroline from Black Book's creeping in the corner here.
Just the hand.
All right, no, I appreciate it, Lars. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Good luck for the event later. All right, I think when are we next on? Next week?
Well, we should be on next week.
Yeah, I'll. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe I'll get on sooner. I'm not sure. I'm excited.
Can you not get on stream while I'm also on a plane? Even when I told you I was going to be on a plane beforehand.
He's a bit salty. He was very
Left
upset.
out.
3rd time he's done this where I've not been in LA, and he's very aware that I'm not in LA. He just goes, "I'm going on stream."
I don't know what to say.
And then Caroline runs shit?
I think it was Eric who did it, right?
I did it by myself.
Oh.
No, you did it by yourself. There's one with Cheyenne that went to shit, and I was stuck on a flight. Wasn't Cheyenne's fault, it was the internet's fault. But
I love it. All right, I'm going to wrap up here. Let Lars out of the house. I thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed that. That was interesting. I'm excited to see the clips of my very confused face of all the things that I didn't understand, which was quite a lot of them. And yeah, I will catch up with you next week. Thank you. Is there anything else I need to say? Oh,
I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for having me on the stream.
my pleasure.
I enjoyed
My
it.
pleasure. No, it's great. My pleasure. Thank you. If you guys have any streaming platforms, you might want to keep an eye out on at midnight because there might be something dropping. So yeah, if I'm not telling you anything about it, you guys can figure it all out. How do I end the stream?
I didn't give you a button to end stream there.
Bye.
Bye, Jack.
Bye, Nate. Bye, Nat Caroline.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Lars.